What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Beyond the DJ Booth. I'm Joe Bunn. That's my man, Brian B. again. We're still here. We're still doing it. What is it? Episode 2? I feel like we've accomplished it. They say, you know what they say? They say that most podcasts, this is true. This is actually a fact. Don't make it past number 10.
Really?
Yeah, that's actually 10.
Okay.
10.
Yeah, that's your number.
That's my favorite number, 10. So what's going on?
Well, you know, I was thinking of how we should open it up, soft opening, whatever. But let me ask you this. What is your porn name? I don't know why I'm going there, but I'm just going to ask it. So that would be middle name and first pet, if you had a pet.
Where did you get this?
I don't know. I was just looking up, Googling show openers and just thought this might be a good one. Because I want people to know the real Joe Bunn. You know what I mean? So
I don't.
Did you have a pet?
I did.
Okay. So what would be the porn name? It would be middle name, which I know what that is, but that's going to be an interesting one with the pet name.
Are you ready?
Give it to me.
Eagles Ace.
Wow.
Eagles Ace.
I don't think you'd do well. I don't think you'd do well in the porn industry.
Ace Eagles is kind of hard. What is yours? No pun intended. Saquon on the board, by the way, everybody. If you hear somebody in the background, that's our guy over there. He's running the board, the cameras. We're doing it all.
I think I could star in.
Go on. Let me hear it.
Keith Oak.
That is good, bro. You had a pet named Oak?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's not your pet name. Sorry.
I'm
sorry. It's First Street you grew up on.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I knew you were messing this up.
Yeah. So Keith Oak.
Keith Oak is good.
That's good, bro. That's like hard.
Eagles Westover. It's not good, man. Ace Eagles is good, though.
That's good.
Yeah, my middle name's Eagles for those of you. Fun fact for the day.
All right.
Yeah, that's a crazy show opener. Jesus.
I just went in.
You did. You went right
Episode 2.
into it. So, for a recap, for those of you not following along, go back and listen to the trailer. That'll tell you kind of who should listen to this podcast and what we're going to be talking about. It kind of breaks down into 3 or 4 different high-level topics. One is kind of gig stories, the good and the bad.
Yeah.
When we mess up or when we excel. The second thing is we're talking about usually a question from one of you guys, the listeners. So we'll be providing a email address or a website for y'all to submit those questions, quite frankly. And what's the third thing again?
Music.
Music, right. And then also we kind of, because Brian, comes from a podcast background of talking about DJing and music also, but also talking about some travel hacks. Gear,
hacks,
yeah.
Right.
As you may or may not know, he is a destination DJ. He is on a plane almost once a week. He takes a break in between sometimes, but he's always out there, right?
Yeah.
And so he's picked up little things along the way. So why don't we talk about that? Because this will be the first time we've introduced this segment.
And these segments are like a work in progress. So we're trying to figure out what sticks.
Yeah, what do you like? What do you not like? Right.
Exactly. So I brought some toys.
Based on the way you started the show, dude, that is not. Don't call him that.
Oh man,
I'm already thinking you're a nasty boy. Go on.
So here we go with a power strip.
Yeah.
This I can't take complete credit for this, so I am going to credit some of the people who shared some of these things with me, but I'm sharing it with everybody else. This is a Drew Pierce find.
Okay, a Drew Pierce find. Shout out Drew Pierce.
This is by KMC.
Okay.
You can get this on Amazon. We'll provide a link in the show notes.
Yep.
So we can get compensated for that, hopefully, at some point.
Why do you like this?
I like this because it's only 3 inputs.
Right. So I just recalled something. If you're just listening to this on a podcast, we'll be a little bit descriptive when we show things.
Right.
Yeah, because a lot of people aren't going to watch the video version, know that there is a video version, but anyway, so be descriptive, Brian.
I will do my best.
Please.
So this is a black...
Jesus.
Sorry. No, this is a power strip with only 3 plugs. Right.
And a shorty cord on it.
A shorty cord.
Yeah. Okay.
The larger extension cords or power strips, I should say, they're just hard to fit in your gig bags, especially if you're traveling.
Yep.
And I realized that I was only usually using at any given spot 3 plugs tops.
Sure.
My computer, a controller, maybe a mic. Right.
Yep.
So these other ones were sitting there, unused.
Right.
The
the cord's usually long.
Totally long. The other thing with this too is the surge protecting. those always fail for me, at least. I feel like they go off on weird times.
Yeah.
This doesn't have that.
And what I like about this one is there's not even an on-off switch on it.
No.
Because some of those don't have a light, so
Right.
you don't really know which is on and which is off.
Yeah.
I really like this.
It comes in a pack of 5.
Okay. Yep.
Price, you want to guess?
$10 each? $5 each?
$20 for the entire 5-pack.
Okay. $4 each.
It's pretty impressive.
Genius.
So
We'll put a link, on the YouTube version of this. We'll put a link down in the description.
and whether you use it for DJing or traveling or whatever, it's just good to have a couple of these in your bag.
Yeah,
just
I love
you never
that.
know.
Yep.
So that's one.
That's a good one.
Second one here.
You're doing a double today?
A double today.
Okay.
One more. This is what you would use to charge your phone. If you're traveling and you're getting a rental car or whatever,
Okay,
fumbling your phone with directions, dealing with all, it was always a challenge for me. And so this...
Because normally you throw it in the cup holder, and then
Right.
it's not helping you. There's no map. Right.
Terrible.
Okay.
So this is a MagSafe. So you have to have the MagSafe backing to
Okay.
your phone.
Yep.
But
Which all the new iPhones have, I
they
think.
do.
Go on.
So this is this will charge it. Comes with the cable to charge as well.
I dig it.
And then this little hook, as you can see here, actually hooks into your air vent.
Oh, yeah.
And whether it's a shorty or a long particular thing, you can basically adjust it with the mounting thing here. So this doesn't have to go straight up.
Do that right in the mic, so it's very satisfying. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Sound effects. Those are real.
Does that sound good, Saquon?
Yeah.
That's good shit. Yeah.
So it doesn't have to go straight up.
Yeah.
It could go down. It could go
Yeah.
to the side if you want. So
dig that,
however
man.
you prefer and
Yeah.
whatever car configuration
Up
you're
by your
in.
face where the vents are, so
Yeah.
you can see the map. Damn, Brian B.
Lights up. It is.
How much? It lights up?
Lights up as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So if
How
it's
much?
$70. So it is a little bit of a
okay.
purchase.
Okay.
But look, it's super compact. I mean, you can literally put this in your bag.
Sure.
If for those who aren't watching, I'm just trust me. You can definitely put it
Yeah,
in your
it's
bag.
about the size of his hand. Like,
right. Well, that's
like-
pretty large. But anyways,
Is it?
This episode is going.
It's
south
going
quick.
swimmingly.
But anyways, I highly recommend it. I
Love
think
it,
it's
bro.
a game changer because you always are going to need it at some point. you
Okay.
know?
I
don't
dig
know.
that, man.
So I've got a couple in my car that are permanent, and then I have a couple on my travel bags just to have in case I need it.
I dig that. Hey, sidebar. Because I just remembered I played this event last night at Ashley's Spin Studio.
Yeah.
All Taylor Swift DJ ride.
Okay.
Now, good news. It's only 45 minutes.
Okay.
Listen, before the Swifties come after me, I like Taylor. I think she is a genius business person. I think she's an awesome songwriter. Am I the biggest fan? No. Did I want to play? I think I played 25 tracks in 45 minutes. I will also say that Ashley basically did the set list for me. Like I just, I didn't, and it wasn't like even deep cuts and stuff, but she was like, you have to play this line of this song or they'll cut your throat. Like, there's like 1, 2, 3, let's go, bitch, or whatever. In that Delicate song, there's some other line. Like, anyway, so it was a scene because like these people, they do now a Taylor Swift Tuesday and a Swiftie Sunday at her studio because
That's
it is
aggressive.
it's that big of a draw though.
Wow.
Like that class was packed out
Right.
every Sunday, 9:30 a.m. packed out.
Wow.
With no DJ,
Yeah.
like just the instructor playing the track. So anyway, I just thought I'd recount that because I haven't played in a couple of weeks now. Getting ready to go back out, on shows this weekend. Big fundraiser we did last year, Saquon and I. And then just off to the races, weddings through the fall. So anyway, just kind of wanted to give you a little look into my different kind of gig life sometimes.
Well, speaking of those tracks, I mean,
Yeah.
it's hard to judge because they're not dancing.
Yes.
But was there a song of the ride, not a song of the night, but a song of the ride? Like
Man,
Taylor
it
track?
was probably
in a specific blend. If there was something that
it was Delicate, that one I was just talking about. And I think it's called like the Intensity Remix. And then there was another remix, I think, of that Lavender Haze. Felix, I'm going to butcher his last name, like Jan, or it's like Jaehn or something like that. Anyway, those were the two that stood out.
And do any of those translate to dance floors? Or
Those two could because they were definitely dance, like 120-something edits.
Okay.
The other ones were more like, cry about your boyfriend.
Yeah.
I hate men.
But
Or something. I felt like...
But
and
you
then
know-
I was like up there just standing there like,
do you think that, like, speaking of that for a wedding,
yeah.
does it matter anymore? Like,
No. Like,
I feel like
remember
these
people
days-
were always like, oh, I can't believe this DJ played this at a wedding. I mean, I don't think people are scrutinizing
Right.
lyrics like that.
Yeah.
Do you?
No. I don't think it's, I mean, unless it's overly, obvious that it's like, hey, I want to divorce you.
Right. Or like a ballad.
cheat
or
on me.
Yeah,
or, something like that. That's obvious. But for the most part, I don't think anybody cares.
Yeah. There was that.
Song.
Remember that wedding we did, Saquon? It was like, me and my side piece. And it was like a request.
I know which one you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about? It's that
King
guy.
Floyd.
Not King Floyd.
George.
King George.
King George.
And I was like, we were like a minute into it. And we were kind of rocking. And I'm like, bro, is this weird for a wedding? And he was like, why did you drop this? I'm like, it's on the must playlist. Like, I didn't just pull this.
Yeah.
And they're out there, like the bride and groom, like me and my side piece. I'm like, oh shit, like this is different. Anyway, all right. Okay. What else? Let's talk. Let's go in. Let's do a question. So at the end of the day, man, like there's so many freaking podcasts, right?
Right.
And I want people to get a value. Like it's good to hear me and you bullshit. I love to see you, man. We live in the same town now, but we don't see each other that often. He came over to the game a couple of weeks ago to watch the game. But like Brian B, like here versus Brian B, Family Guy, when he's got his daughter, he's got to she's tearing up my house. He's trying not to let her, is a different person. So it's good to be like face to face. I love this so far. Like episode 2, I feel like. Do you feel like we're going to make it past 10?
I think we can.
Okay, good.
I'm gonna
All right, so Saquon, if you'll pop up the question, and it's already up here on the monitor. You want to read it, Brian? I think he's a better reader than I am.
I think it's because of the accent.
Yes, it's true. He's a good reader.
Where do I meet the high-end wedding planners?
I love this.
Once I meet them, how do I talk about my business in a way that appeals to them? How can I add value for the wedding planners? How do I build and maintain relationships with these people? By Preston Johnson. And where's he out of? Do you know?
I don't remember. Where is Preston out of? Anyway, shout out Preston Johnson.
Wherever you are.
No, Boise. Oh, yeah. Remember we were talking about this yesterday.
Boise.
Shout out Boise. Shout out Eric Rhodes, too, in Boise.
Right.
Good people in Boise. Shout out Russell Brunson. Russell Brunson's in.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a Boise, Idaho guy. All right. So this is so right up your alley. In fact, I'm going to let you take the majority of this.
I knew you were going to do that.
I'm going to have to because I promise you, man, and I'm not just saying this to blow smoke. What you've done to parlay these relationships from going to engage, which I'm sure you're getting ready to talk about, is really impressive. Seriously, man, because I've seen where your business started. I consulted Brian.
You did
10 years ago down in Destin, Florida, before he did any of this travel DJ stuff. So I'll speak on it, but kind of answer this first.
Okay. So, I mean, you referenced the Engage conference. That was probably my first big step into like moving out of the local high-end market, which at the time in Florida, the bar was pretty low, even though it was high.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I had no idea how high it really went. And so going to the Engage conference was really my first foray into it. But I'll be honest with you, if you're not familiar with the Engage conference, we'll put the link in the show notes, but it's not a cheap ticket anymore.
Woo!
I mean,
it never was, but now it's like stratosphere.
Crazy. To
5,000?
Higher. It's like 75 hundo.
Woo!
Right? So the best piece of advice I got, well, one, let me back up. When I heard about the conference, I saw the price tag. I think at the time it was like $3,500, and I still thought that was a hefty ticket. And I didn't have the money, and so I've always tried to live my life in a way that was like, if I don't have the money, I'm not putting it on a credit card. Right. I just didn't feel like that's a good business move. So I saved for a year, didn't go, and then I finally, put down the cash, had it in the marketing budget, went.
Yeah.
Met a friend of ours, now one of yours, Bob Conti, who was there.
Yeah.
A guy who's amazing connector. He's like the mayor of Engage now.
Yeah.
I mean, it connects everybody. But he told me while we're in a pool, he's like, listen, this isn't a one-time hit. Like, there's so many people who come to this conference and they think they're going to get a booking right off the bat. It's possible, but it's very rare. So I went 7 times, bro. 7 times before I got my first gig from this. My point is, with any relationship, it takes time to mature that. And
you were playing at these things?
At the time, no. The first 2 or 3, I wasn't. I think our field is so hard to like make inroads there because we don't have a portfolio like a photographer or videographer where it's really tangible. I can show videos all day long of me playing, but it's a feeling. It's like you got to experience it live. And so I had to ask them, like, or figure out a way to demonstrate my skill set.
Yeah.
And so at the Engaged conference specifically, I was like, is there any kind of after party I can do? Is there any kind of showcasing I can do? And you went one time and literally we rented out the biggest hotel suite we could.
Yeah.
Spent a crazy amount for this suite, but it allowed us to throw a party in there.
Yeah, we did.
And I mean,
that was
people
fun.
were still talking about to this day.
Yeah.
Like that stuff.
That was fun, man.
And so you kind of have to get creative sometimes, because I wasn't going to be somebody, at least right off the get, that they were going to let me be one of the featured entertainers. They're typically using bands. They're typically using agencies.
Yeah.
My business wasn't structured that way, so I couldn't provide it from that level. So you had to kind of get creative. But to your question, I would just say it's going to take time. So know that right off the bat. But there's other places you can go nowadays to make these inroads. It doesn't have to be the Engage conference. I feel like, and I know you're a part of this organization too, but WIPA is growing
it's
super strong.
WIPA if you want to look into it. Yep.
I think it stands for Wedding International Planning Association or Professionals Association.
Professionals, yes.
And they're all over the place.
Yeah.
And big markets. I don't know about Boise.
Right.
But the great thing is you become a national member if you want to, if they don't have a locals chapter.
Did you just shit on Boise, by the way?
Is it? Well, they don't have, they're not a major market.
Okay,
right.
right.
Like even Raleigh, like they just started this.
But even our market is the whole state.
Right.
Right.
Charlotte,
exactly.
right?
Yep.
At least that's where they're.
Or no, because they had one in
North Carolina.
Wilmington.
That's
It's
right.
the whole state, literally.
So
anyway.
At some point, they'll get there. But this is a cheaper alternative because you can literally fly to these places. The meeting's in the day.
Sure.
You don't even have to get a hotel room.
Totally.
So for like a $500 investment,
You're right.
You're getting in front of people who move the needle, and that's a great stepping point. I think is there.
I agree.
But they have to I don't think you can do this through email. Like high end planners and stuff, it has to be about the relationship.
Yeah, it's not an email thing. You got to get in front of them.
That would be my thought. I can talk to the other two things real quickly.
Yeah.
Adding value is something that is going to be, again, I think I talked about this on the last episode. You have to be able to distinguish what you're good at.
Yeah.
What is it that is your calling card?
Yeah.
And it's not going to always be the same. You can't be a yes man, yes woman to every whim and say, I can do it all. Whatever you want me to be, I can be. That makes you not look like the professional in the room. You have to be able to say, this is my lane. And the way I like to frame it a lot of times is you're going to be repelling some people and you're going to be attracting some people. What you don't want to be is in the middle where you're middle of the road, because then they don't know where you stand.
Yep.
And you're going to blend in with everybody else. So it's okay to take a stand on this is what my calling card is. This is what I'm great at. This is what I'm not going to do because this isn't what I'm good at.
You did mention this last time for sure, man.
So that would be some of my tips.
Yeah. I mean, if I'll just speak on it briefly as well. I mean, I don't run in the Engage world, but I certainly, as I've talked about before on any podcast or the DJ's Vault, I mean, I am definitely a person that joins an organization, whether it's NACE, WIPA, or ALEA, and I go to these things, And if I can't personally go, if I'm out of town or, something gets in the way with the family, then Randy goes and kind of represents the company. One of the other of us is at every one of those meetings. And, we're there to represent the brand. We're there to listen to people. We're there to share war stories. We're there to talk. The way I add value is the same way that Brian was talking about. I definitely tell people what we're good at. I'm happy to share pictures or images of what we do in terms of setup. I'm there to tell them, hey, look, Randy and I came from the club background. We know how to play like these quote unquote kids that are getting married now. They grew up listening to real DJs.
Right.
When I first started, you didn't have to. You could channel fade in and out and play the whole song till it damn near faded from the engineer's original recording.
Yeah.
It's just different now. And so I tell them that. And maintaining the relationships is about, staying in their faces, hosting luncheons, sending out gifts at certain times of the year, it's always being top of mind. And again, just like I said last time, I'll say it again, never take your foot off the gas.
Well, and to that point, I think one thing Bun DJ Co. is really great at is always volunteering for sponsorships or whatever the case may be. Not necessarily with money, it can be, but really your time. I always see at these WIPA meetings, there's a Bun DJ guy who's playing the meeting before the meeting, the music that's happening there.
Put in a photo booth or whatever. We'll do it. We'll do it.
The other way to kind of elevate quickly is to get on the board of these organizations.
Absolutely.
It kind of makes you feel like you're elevated and puts you in a different conversation than just attending and being a regular member, if you will.
And to be fair, it's not like a crazy time suck.
It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, WIPA specifically, they do 4 meetings a year as the minimum requirement to be a chapter. If you're doing the treasury or whatever the case, I mean, it's so basic for what you're doing for those 4 meetings. The time suck is not crazy.
President may be different.
Yeah. Totally.
I've been like communications. I've definitely been.
I did education for them. Right. So like,
I think I did that as well for one of the groups, and it wasn't a huge time commitment.
But it just puts you on a different pedestal because now when people are looking at the chapter, they're like, who's on the board?
Yeah.
And they see your DJ company name. All of a sudden, they're like, well, this must be somebody good. He wouldn't be on the board if he wasn't. You know what I mean?
I love it.
Or she wasn't.
Yeah. Great stuff. Anything before we wrap this episode up, man? I feel pretty good about this one.
It's a good one. Yeah, great questions. Keep them coming.
Yeah, keep the questions coming. Thank you, Preston, and thanks everybody for listening. Thanks for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, and we'll keep it going. We're shooting for episode 10.
Sounds good. See y'all.